this far into the season, I don't know if I'm going to be able to mentally pick up Kalen Ballage and be like, yep, this is my running back this week. I would almost rather like not pick him up and be wrong on that than put him in my lineup and be wrong that way.
BRB Blazer.
Sweet, put him in. All right, let's go on to running backs. Mike Davis is back again because, like I said earlier in the podcast, Christian McCaffrey is hurt. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully you didn't drop Mike Davis when CMC came back. And a lot of people did. So if you double check your league, he's a very high chance he's available.
Yeah, I mean, these first couple guys we're going to be talking about are more like handcuff guys. But, yeah, like Mike said, CMC, he comes back. He lights it up. He gives you a classic CMC game, like 10 catches, 100 yards or something, and a touchdown. And then, the rushing yards too. But he got banged up. I think it's a shoulder injury. They're not really sure what it is yet. I think he's like day-to-day, or we haven't heard too many reports of what it is. But like Mike said, a lot of people have been dropping Mike Davis, and I don't know why. He's one of the most valuable handcuffs in the game. We've seen when McCaffrey's been out and how valuable Davis is. He's pretty much a low-end RB1 or the solid RB1. So, yeah, he dropped in one of my leagues. I don't know if I'm going to get him, but I'm definitely putting a waiver claim in him. And if you have Mike Davis, just hold on to him. Just hold on to him. But if he's out there, for sure, I would go get Mike Davis.
Yeah, he's my number one. Like, I burn waiver wire. I'd put money on him for sure.
Yeah.
Next one here, we got Tony Pollard. It was a little confusing because we actually said to not play Zeke last week before they announced he wasn't going to play, and then it was a game time decision. All of a sudden, he was put in. But I think that, like we've said before, it seems like Zeke is just not – I don't know if it's not dialed in or what it is exactly, but I think Tony Pollard is like becoming more and more efficient, even with Zeke in. When you're in a spot, you got people on bye. I think you can put Tony Pollard in on a week-to-week basis. That's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, Zeke, like I said, he was one of our sits, and I know it's hard because you're talking about sitting a guy who was a top 5 overall pick.
Yeah.
You're thinking of Zeke. He's a RB1. He's a guy who gets you 100 yards almost every single game. But 3 straight weeks under 10 PPR fantasy points. And, obviously with no Dak, they got the third, fourth string quarterback in. That doesn't look good. But
Garrett Gilbert actually wasn't that bad. It wasn't good, but it was not that bad.
Yeah, you watched the game because you're a Steelers fan.
Pittsburgh,
but yeah, Tony Pollard, I mean, he's getting more incorporated. He got 10 touches, 9 for 57. So, like I said, he just looks like he's got more spring in the step. He looks a little bit better than Zeke. Obviously, Zeke wasn't 100% here, but just another guy where he's a high-value handcuff. If anything was to happen to Zeke, you would see Tony Pollard see 20-plus touches.
Yeah,
he's a guy who gets utilized on the ground and in the passing game. So it gets to a point where do you want this fifth-string receiver that you're never going to play? Like, why are you holding on to Hunter Renfrow? Why are you holding on to, I don't know, just some of these lower-tier guys, MVS.
Cam Akers.
Yeah, like, why are you holding on to those guys? Let me hold on to a guy where if something happens to Zeke, if he misses, Tony Pollard turns into a locked and loaded.
Yeah.
He's like a top 5 option. He's going to get you 20-plus touches, how Mike Davis was doing when CMC was out.
Yeah.
So just a guy that I would go out and I would just stash, and I'd rather have him on my bench. Does it hit? Does he end up taking over if Zeke gets hurt? That's the unknown. But I'll just I want him on my bench is what I'm saying.
Yeah. We'll go to Duke Johnson. David Johnson got hurt this past week, so it's not the sexiest play just because the Texans are the game script. I feel like for the Texans isn't really ever in a spot where you're going to be running the ball like crazy. But with David Johnson down, I think Duke Johnson gets a bump up in fantasy value.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, DJ, David Johnson, I guess they're both DJ. But, you had David Johnson. He left the game with what they're calling a concussion. So he's got to pass the concussion protocol to be able to play this week. I feel like most of the times when you're dealing with concussions, majority of the time, the player will be okay to come back the following week. But there are some cases where that player has to miss due to they just didn't clear the concussion protocol. But, yeah, when David Johnson went out, Duke Johnson stepped in. He played 81% of the snaps. He had 20 total touches. Puts up a solid game for you in fantasy terms. So, yeah, I'll go out and grab him, especially if you have David Johnson. You want to handcuff him right there. And then, like I said, you just don't know if David Johnson is coming back or not. He'd be one of the main priority guys I'd be trying to get just because if like I said, if David Johnson does miss, Duke Johnson's going to be the main feature back there for the Texans.
And his name's Duke.
Duke.
You know? I feel like that's a cool name. I don't know. All right, let's go on to the next running back here. We got Matt Breida. Sell me on this one because I'm not too sold on it.
2 words. Jordan Howard.
Yeah.
Wait, 4 words. Wait, 5 words. Jordan Howard is not good. That was like 2 or 4. Anyways.
It really isn't, though.
Yeah, so Matt Breida, I feel like he was the guy that you were going to get once you heard that Myles Gaskin was going down on IR with the MCL injury. He misses this week's game as well due to a hamstring injury. So it was Jordan Howard, it was Patrick Lard, it was I'm gonna mispronounce his name, but Savon Ahmed, I think is his name. I think he's a rookie out of Washington. I could be wrong on that one, but yeah, Matt Breida, he's available in like 70+% of leagues. I just think that the Ahmed guy looked okay here and there. Patrick Lard, however you pronounce it, he was just non-existent. I think he had like 1 catch, and that was it. I don't think he had a carry. And then Jordan Howard is just the goal line back. Like he's just not good.
He just
I don't know
falls
what
in the
it
end
is.
zone, like you said last week when we did our start sits. You defended him and saying like he just gets the goal line carry, so he could fall in the end zone very easily.
Yeah, and I still think that's a similar situation where even if Matt Breida comes back this week, you're going to see them get in close, and it's probably going to be Jordan Howard who comes in and he'll probably finish with 5 carries for 5 yards and 1 touchdown. But I think if Matt Breida comes back, he's going to be the main guy who sees 15-plus touches. He's a little bit more electric. He's got that speed, that burner where he can break off a big play, and he can be utilized in the passing game as well. Even with Myles Gaskin getting 60-70% of the snaps, it was Matt Breida who was the guy who was coming in as like the backup running back to kind of spell Gaskin. So if Breida's out there, I would go get him. It's a good matchup this week against the Chargers.
The Chargers. All right, let's go on to the next running back here. We got J.D. McKissic. It's this Washington running game. It's like both these guys are getting run though. It has become pretty split. Like.
Yeah, definitely a running back by committee. McKissic's available in 50+% of leagues, and he's had 6 or more. He's more of like a PPR guy, I feel like, because he's involved in the passing game a lot. But 6 or more receptions in 4 of his last 5 games, so you like seeing that, kind of a safe floor if you're in a PPR league. And he's actually outsnapped Antonio Gibson in 6 of the 8 games so far this season. Like I said, he's more of like the PPR guy. He actually has 21 more targets than Antonio Gibson does this season. So if you're in a pinch and you're in a PPR league, I'm not mad at getting J.D. McKissic. You're probably going to have Alex Smith as the quarterback now. Kyle Allen, I think he kind of had a similar injury to what Alex Smith had. I think he broke his ankle. Dwayne Haskins is just I don't know, who knows if he'll be in Washington after this year. So it's the Alex Smith show now for the Washington football team.
If you look at the stats when Alex Smith went in, he hyper targeted J.D. McKissic. Is that what you just said?
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to. But pretty much, yeah. So McKissic, pick him up.
Pick him up. Put him in, baby. All right, let's move on to the next one here. We got Rex Burkhead. But we were watching this game and you were like, I get so frustrated when they play Rex Burkhead so much. They give him so much run.
Yeah, but he's like I said, Damian Harris is like the runner. Damian Harris is a capable pass catcher too, and then you got James White who's more of the receiving back, and then I think you have like Rex Burkhead is like. He's like the hybrid of the two.
He's like the Taysom Hill of running backs.
Yes, he feel like they like Super Saiyan fuse. That's what you would get as Rex Burkhead. And for whatever it is, Belichick loves him some Rex Burkhead. I throw him in here because he's available in 70+% of leagues. You got Sony Michel. He's still on IR. I think he was practicing a little bit this last week, so he might come back this next game, which would make things even more murkier. But you had Damian Harris. He got banged up, took a hard hit from one of the Jets safeties, and he fell. Like a sack of potatoes. Is that how they say it? He felt like a sack of potatoes. I don't know. Anyways, I just made that up, I guess.
Yeah. I don't
Anyways, Damian Harris got lit up. He left the game. They're calling it a chest injury. I'm thinking it's like a shoulder injury, so you're not sure if he's going to play. So Burkhead would be based on the fact if Damian Harris is out due to the injury that he suffered after getting lit up, and then if Michelle remains on IR, the only running backs there would be Rex Burkhead and James White. And for whatever reason, James White has just been non-existent. He's kind of fallen off the edge of a cliff. I don't know why, but
it's just as of late, it's weird because it seems like if you look at it last year or years prior, it seems like Bill Belichick loves James White.
Yeah.
But this year, it's not the case. It's starting to get away from him.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I said, if Damian Harris is out, Sonny Michel's out, and it's just Burkhead and it's just James White, I would be confident starting Rex Burkhead this week.
I'm confident. All right, let's do Cordarelle Patterson. Sorry. I thought it was Cordarelle Patterson.
I think it's Cordarelle.
Is it? Oh, okay. All right. Sell me, baby. Tell me why.
This is another.
Tell me why. Oh, by the way, with Rex Burkhead, really quick, I would say don't burn a waiver on it. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe put $1
wait.
for FAAB.
Yeah. He'll probably sneak through on the waivers.
Yeah. Anyways, Cordarelle.
But yeah, this like I said, it's another concussion situation here for the Chicago Bears. You had David Montgomery. He left with they're calling it a head injury, but I mean it's a concussion. So you just got to monitor that. If Montgomery is in, obviously Cordarelle Patterson's value is nothing. But if David Montgomery was to miss at all, you're probably going to see a split between Cordarelle Patterson and then another running back, Ryan Nall, who got utilized. I think he actually got the goal line touchdown, Ryan Nall did. But Cordarelle Patterson, who was a former first-round wide receiver, is a guy that they can kind of use in that Tariq Cohen role if they wanted to. He could be a running back, but then he can also catch out of the backfield. I'm not sure if Ryan Nall is going to be some of the targeting out of the backfield. And we've seen David Montgomery's receptions and his target usage just skyrocket since Tariq Cohen's been out. So if Montgomery's out, I think Cordarelle Patterson could be a sneaky play. Like another guy where you're not spending a waiver claim or maybe throw $1 FAAB on him because his value is dictated on whether Dave Montgomery misses or not. So just another guy to keep an eye on. Once the waivers go through, he'll probably still be there. Maybe just go get him for free. But then, like I said, you got to monitor Montgomery and see what's up with him in the concussion
protocol. We got Gus Edwards. He did pretty good. He had a pretty big breakaway run for a touchdown that looked pretty sweet. It's funny because it's like the beginning of the year you think, okay, well they got J.K. Dobbins. And then they got, obviously, Mark Ingram got injured. But I didn't expect to be talking about Gus Edwards going into Week 10.
And that is
what I mean?
Fantasy football in a nutshell.
Yeah.
It's like you're expecting,
it's like
Gaskin. You're thinking, Jordan Howard, you're thinking Matt Breida. And it's, here's Gaskin, who's a top 20 running back who nobody, even me as a Dolphins fan, was paying attention to Gaskin. But, yeah, that's just fantasy football. Things change week to week. I mean, you see things, the only people that know what's going on are the coaches, and everyone else, us. You got these guys from ESPN, Yahoo, whatever. Like, at the end of the day, everyone's just making their best educated guess of what they think the team is going to do. Some are better than others. Some aren't very good. But
here's the thing is if we were able to predict exactly how many carries someone's going to get or exactly how they're going to run the offense, then that means that the opposing defense would also.
For sure.
And the whole point of a coach, they want to keep it secret. So it's like we're not going to know everything.
Yeah.
If they say they do, they're lying.
Yeah, but whatever it is, Gus Edwards, I think he just fits this offense and this system. Harbaugh likes him. It's a guy where he doesn't fool around. He's not a guy who's trying to, jump cut and do all these things. He's just a north and south runner. He takes the ball. I guess a Frank Gore you can call him. The guy who just hits the hole hard and he tries to get any kind of yardage he can. But he's the goal line back here out of the three. I think his value is, again, based on whether Mark Ingram misses. He's dealing with, I think they're calling it a mid to high ankle sprain. So if he misses another game, we'll see. But, yeah, Gus busts a touchdown in 3 straight games. And in the 2 games without Mark Ingram in the lineup, you've had Dobbins get 30 touches and you've had Gus Edwards get 29 touches. So, I mean, you're in a full running back by committee here between those 2 running backs. But now on the flip side, like I said, Gus Edwards is getting the goal line carries. Gus Edwards has 2 touchdowns in those 2 games. Dobbins has 0 touchdowns in those 2 games. So, another thing, like I said, it's Ingram. If Ingram's out, then Gus Edwards has some value here going forward still.
Let's keep going on these running backs. All right, Wayne Gallman, New York Giants running back. He put up some numbers against Washington, huh?
Yeah, I mean, he's 13 or more PPR points in 3 straight weeks, and he's had a touchdown in 3 straight games.
I mean, Washington's defense is actually pretty good, so.
Yeah.
That dude, what's his name, Chase Young that they got?
Yeah, he's good. I'm not sure if I'm sold on Gallman. I think we might have missed his little window for opportunity. Does he take the job and run away with it? I don't think he's done anything to like wow the Giants and be like, oh, okay, like this is the guy now. Like,
I mean,
forget about Devontae Freeman, because Devontae Freeman was getting, prior to his ankle injury, Devontae Freeman was getting, I want to say it was 15 to 18 touches a game. So he was the guy, and obviously they went on, they went and got Devontae Freeman off the street when they already had Gallman. So I don't see a scenario where now Gallman is putting up points that are just like, okay, Devontae Freeman, forget about you. We're paying you this money. We went to go get you. Gallman, you're the guy. So this is more murkier for me, in my opinion. I don't know if I'd be going to get Gallman. I mean, you had Devontae Freeman. He missed again a second straight week with the ankle injury, but he was a limited participant in practice last week. I'm expecting him to practice again this week, and then him to be back in the lineup, which would just make this more of like a running back by committee scenario with Gallman and Devontae Freeman. But then you throw on top of it that this is just not a very good offense, and this is just not a good team.
I mean, that's the hardest part is like this. We always talk about this O-line is not very good. What games are the Giants going to be in a script where you're like, oh, yeah, hell yeah, they're going to be up and just running the ball. I know that's not where all fantasy points come from, but, you do get a boost from game scripts like that. But, yeah, he has been putting up points. I think you're right, though. We might have missed his window, like you're saying. Zack Moss.
So this is a guy, he's more owned than not, but I did notice that he was out there in about a third of leagues. So I would go out and get him, and he'd probably be one of the main, top couple guys I'd be trying to get over some of these other guys that we've gone over. I mean, 10 or more PPR points in 3 straight weeks, and he's had 3 touchdowns in his last 2 games. He's the goal line back. It's not Devin Singletary. Josh Allen, he'll run some in too as well, but I think they're kind of leaning more on Zack Moss. And this is a good offense. I mean, the Bills have definitely one of the better offenses in the NFL. They're always going to be like in the red zone in games, getting in close. So yeah, if Zack Moss is out there, I definitely want him on my team.
I'm with you on that one. Yeah, if he's available, I'm picking him up for sure.
Yeah.
We got Joshua Kelley. What do you say with this whole thing? Because I feel like Josh Kelley was doing so well in the beginning of the year. Before, like, he was almost taking touches from Eckler, which was like scaring me as an Eckler owner in the beginning of the year. But now Justin Jackson goes down. Do you think it's just automatically we're going to see so much of Josh Kelley? Because I feel like there's 2 other guys behind that got some run, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you saw a little bit of Kalen Ballage.
Yeah, that's what it was.
But yeah, like I said, that was kind of one where we said Justin Jackson. Justin Jackson was one of my starts for this week. If he played, he didn't play because he got 0, but he got hurt on the first drive. But you got guys like Joshua Kelley and Kalen Ballage came in and stepped in. I think Kalen Ballage had a decent game. Ends up finding the end zone. Kalen Ballage does. But yeah, so if Justin Jackson is to miss another game, because we don't know, it's a knee injury. He was able to return, I think they said, but I think they were just like, okay, like you already banged up. There's no reason to throw you out there. We'll just throw Kelley and Ballage out there just to kind of, maintain the game. Are you interested in picking up a Kalen Ballage? Are you interested in picking up a Joshua Kelley?
Here's the thing with Kalen Ballage.
I've seen Justin Jackson being dropped in one league. Are you
interested
in trying to go get him, or are you just like, I just don't want anything to do with it right now? It's just it's the Herbert show over there. It's like he's gunslinging.
I think of this like this. This far into the season, I don't know if I'm going to be able to mentally pick up Kalen Ballage and be like, yep, this is my running back for this week. I would almost rather like not pick him up and be wrong on that than put him in my lineup and be wrong that way.
Yeah, no.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
no, I agree.
Even the matchup's good. It's like, dude, I do not want to play Kalen Ballage. I've watched that guy play way too much. He fell into the end zone, but he's not this running back that just hasn't had a chance. To me, it doesn't seem like that. And I think Anthony or Coach Lynn is like, he's smart enough. He was a running back. He's smart enough to see that, and I think he'll see that throughout practice. And I couldn't imagine. I just couldn't imagine him giving him a lot of reps. You got to give Josh Kelley the reps. I think that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one of them, like Justin Jackson was dropped in the league, I'll go get him just to see and then monitor the knee injury. If he plays,
because we don't have too much details on what that.
Prior to him getting hurt, he was getting, the lion's share of the carries over Joshua Kelley. Kalen Ballage wasn't even getting any run. I'm not even sure when they got Kalen Ballage, honestly, because he was on the Jets for a while. He's probably unemployed for a couple weeks. But yeah, I just wouldn't feel comfortable. Even if any of these guys start, I mean, they're going to be traveling to Miami. And maybe it's a homer pick here, but for this high-powered Cardinals offense, we're all hyped on Chase Edmonds, getting a solid workload, and he did. He had 25 carries. Chase Edmonds had 25 carries. He only got you 70 yards. That's only 2.8 yards per carry against the Miami Dolphins defense. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe Miami just good luck. I don't know what it is, but like I said, I mean, guy got 25 carries and he couldn't break off at least one big run. I mean, I was at the game and every run was getting stuff. So the point I'm getting is, I think the Dolphins' run defense is a little bit better than people are giving him credit. Yeah. So I don't know how confident I would feel starting a Joshua Kelley or Kalen Ballage, maybe Justin Jackson, but I don't even know if I'd feel confident starting him because he's banged up, and then he's one of these guys is also going to get some runs. So I think I would just be staying away from this backfield in entirety.
I'd say if anything, I would grab Josh Kelley, but that's just me.
Yeah,
I don't know.